Hello and welcome to That Anime Pod, the seasonal anime recap show brought to you by That Nerdy Site. I'm your host, Christian Puente, aka Pixel Brave. Be sure to follow me at Pixel Brave, follow the show at That Anime Pod, and of course, don't forget to follow the website at That Nerdy Site for more podcasts about films, video games, and anything nerdy under the sun. This show is made possible thanks to support on Patreon, so thank you everybody who made this show possible. If you'd like to participate, you can find us on Patreon. Look up That Nerdy Site. Thanks again for joining me this week. Now let's recap some anime. So far, we're halfway through the winter 2020 season, and let's talk about some of the shows that I've been catching up on. The original concept for this podcast was that I'd only cover 3, but I think I've kind of found a groove. I can cover a few more shows than that, as long as I can kind of keep it short and sweet. So I think the last time I had talked about Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, or I was going to call it Eizouken for short. Again, for those who aren't familiar with the show, it's about 3 high school girls who are starting their own anime club. They technically aren't allowed to start an anime club, so what they're doing is creating a film club, but the film club makes anime. And in the recent episodes, what they've done is just kind of grow. First, they've gotten in a studio. It's super lucky. They found a studio on the campus. Maybe from years, even maybe decades ago, there must have been another animation club, and they kind of inherited it. They got a studio, equipment. Right now, a lot of things are falling into place, but I think it's just to kind of move the show along. That way we can get to whatever the major conflict's going to be. So they've gotten equipment, they've gotten approval from the school to be an official club, which means they got funding. And then what's going on now is that they've been contracted by the robotics club to create a promotional short animation for them. And so they're collaborating with the robotics team and trying to, get eye to eye. And there's a little bit of creative differences, but I think they're going to get through that. I'm still watching the case files of Jeweler Richard, where we're getting a bit more backstory on our hero, which it's funny. I'm still halfway through the show and still can't remember the main character's name. Obviously, I remember Richard Jeweler, or Jeweler Richard, because his name's in the title, so it's much easier. But yes, we do get a bit more background on the main character. In one of the most recent episodes, one of his former someone he went to school with, who he really admired, came back during his life, and the whole theme of that episode was about fate, and you never know who you'll run into again, and what kind of can come with that. It's kind of an encounter he'd been waiting to have for a long time, and then now that he finally got reunited with this old classmate of his that he used to look up to a lot, his senpai, he found out that he wasn't such a nice guy after all, and is, not setting the best examples anymore, and so kind of lets him down. But this is all part of the growing process for our hero, who hopefully I'll remember his name in the next episode. My Hero Academia is still going on. We have the provisional license kind of finale for Todoroki and Bakugo. They were taking extra classes since they failed their original test, and so the last episodes we got to see them kind of show that they can be heroes. They can put aside their differences and they can learn to work together to win over hearts. That was the new challenge from them. They were introduced to a whole bunch of kids, which they were told that apparently quirks through generations become stronger. And so these kids are like way stronger than even Todoroki or Bakugo were when they were kids. And these kids are growing up seeing how society is changing, and the All Might's gone, and then struggles people are going through, and they're like, we can't count on the older kids, to take care of things. We can't wait for them to become heroes. We got to step up to the plate now. And so it's up to, our heroes, Todoroki and Bakugo, to show these kids, several lessons. First, we got this. We can work together, and we can keep y'all safe. Don't feel like y'all need to grow up fast. We still got this taken care of. And also another lesson to one of the children there was that, hey, if you're top dog, don't let that go to your head, because you're going to miss out on all the weaknesses. And that came from Bakugo, who fortunately got to show a little bit of growth, him giving wisdom to this kid, where before all we did was see Bakugo yelling at kids before. So it was cool to see him grow up a little bit. And we've got, of course, the really long title, Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It. It's still a lot more comedy going on with that. I'm really enjoying it. In the most recent episode, the students that are participating in the lab had a drinking party, and the theme of that was kind of getting to see the different sides of people. And it was just made for some fun scenarios, because sometimes people are belligerent, sometimes they're over flirty, and just, as you can imagine, some situational comedy. So that was fun to watch. And something I was finally excited to catch up on was Haikyu. I don't think last episode I'd even started Haikyu, because it started a little bit late in the season. Sometimes that happens. A show will start 1 or 2 weeks into the season, and I think that happened with Haikyu. So I just marathoned through it, and it was like a really cool beginning of the season. There's a whole training camp arc where the characters are all split up. We've got most of the second and third years. They're still doing their own kind of training, but Kageyama, he has been recruited by like the national coaches to train with them for a week, and then Tsuki got drafted by the coach from Shiratorizawa to train with him, as well as a whole bunch of selected prominent strong players from other schools. We saw man, this is where I show that I'm bad at the names of the schools, but we saw a whole bunch of characters from former matches that they'd had against Karasuno. And so then where does our main character, Hinata, fit into all this? He snuck into the same camp as Suki because he thought that he could just kind of fly under the radar and maybe they would just kind of accept him and just be like, yeah, we're impressed by your guts, and so you get to be here. But no, the coach from Shiratorizawa did not let him, get away with that, and so he offered them a chance to be a ball boy, and Hinata, not giving up, being the tried and true character he is, was like, no, if all I can do is be a ball boy, I'll do that. But it created a great opportunity for him because he basically got to observe all these really strong players and see what do they notice and what can he learn from them. And it just, showed that Hinata will always do whatever he can to become stronger as a player. And that really means asking advice and observing other players and seeing what he can take away from how they play. And so it's cool it was a fun couple of episodes there at the camp, but now it's over. And so we're going to see how Kageyama and Hinata and Tsuki's lessons during the training camp we'll see how their skills tied in with the rest of the team can hopefully get them all ready for nationals, which is coming up. I think they said that they have less than a month in the anime before they go on to their trip. And so yeah, I'm excited to see everybody come back together. And that sums up some of the shows that I've been watching. I hope y'all have been tuning into some of these too. Again, we're about halfway through the season, and so I'd love to hear if any shows y'all ended up dropping. You can find me at That Anime Pod. Just leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything that's really stuck with you or something that you feel you had to fall off of. Let's talk about some of the halfway point anime that we've been watching these days. Okay, now for some news. For those who have not heard, the One Piece property, which I believe started as a manga and then became a very popular anime as well, is going to get a live-action adaptation. The word is that it's going to be the same production studio that is making the Netflix live-action Cowboy Bebop show. And yeah, we're looking at have this also come to Netflix, but apparently the budget is going to be the size of something more like a Game of Thrones, I have not seen or read One Piece at all, but I've heard a lot of good things. I can tell from afar, though, for anyone who's for some reason never heard of One Piece, it's pirates with superpowers, and so that means a lot of effects. And also, if you're gonna be, if you're not familiar with production, filming in water or filming with water is one of the most expensive things you can do. So I'm very curious to see how they pull this off. Of course, there have been other shows that take place on the water. We've had Black Sails, is a very popular show, and I don't know what the numbers look like for that. I don't know what the production value on that, but imagine Black Sails, but with powers and also, I guess, over-the-top characters and fights. Again, I'm not familiar. I don't watch or read One Piece, but I know that it is one of the, without a doubt, biggest properties out there. So I'm really curious. If anyone out there is a fan of One Piece, please let me know what your thoughts on this are. I'm really excited, again, since I'm not familiar with it. If I can see a live action version, that might push me to check out the manga or the anime. Well, I haven't watched them so far because there's so many episodes. I think it's between, literally, I'm not exaggerating, it's between 700 to 800 episodes right now, and that is just such a gigantic order of anime. I don't know if I can catch up on that, but if they come up with a live action, then that might just push me to finally that might push me to either check out the anime before the live action comes out, or I'll watch the live action and that'll push me to finally check out the anime. One or the other is going to happen. We'll see. I'd love to hear some of you guys' thoughts on that. Again, you can drop those comments on Twitter at @ThatAnimePod. Now let's move on to topic of the week, which this is going to be the first episode where I have a guest. We're going to be talking to Tortilla Senpai about My Hero Academia. And again, you're going to see what it's like inserting these interviews, because I'm going to bank up some interviews over different topics and then insert them into the episode. So let's turn it over right there. And again, if you want to get involved, you can find the Google Doc on my Twitter at @ThatAnimePod. Submit your topic and we will coordinate how to get you on the show, because that's the whole point, is that I really want to just create a fun little community where we can talk about anime for anyone who doesn't usually get to talk about that. And well, anyways, that's enough waiting. Let's get to the interview now. Okay, so time for topic of the week. This week I have our first guest for That Anime Pod. We're talking to Tortilla Senpai. Hello.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Tortilla Senpai and I know each other from Twitter. We both share My Hero and Dragon Ball memes, talk about Kingdom Hearts. I'll be jumping in the chat, watching them go against those Heartless and stuff. And so when I saw you were interested in talking about My Hero, I'm like, well, hey, Overhaul arc just finished. Let's talk about things. So
let's do it.
Yeah. So just talk a little bit about yourself.
Well, I go by Tortilla _. Don't forget the underscore. Senpai on Twitter and most social medias. I've been doing that for the longest time. I went by something else, and I won't say it because I have my name in it. But I changed it to Tortilla Senpai like two-ish years ago, I think. And I just thought, like, Mexican nerd, why not?
Right, exactly.
So that was before the whole senpai, like, everyone senpai this, senpai that.
No, you were like the original then.
The original. Before it was cool.
So cool. Then, on Twitter and on Twitch, what are you streaming on Twitch these days?
I just stream whatever I want. I don't want to be one of those people that's, like, linked to just one game.
Gotcha.
Because, like, some people will stream, like, this, like, a lot of, that happens to the fighting game community a lot, where people will just stream Street Fighter, and they'd be like, man, I want to play some, like, Uncharted or, like, Last of Us.
Yeah, mix
and
it up.
Get, like, and they'll just, like, get 4 people watching instead of, like, 200. So it's just, like, damn, like, I can't even play something else that I enjoy instead of getting burnt out on, like, fighting games. So, like, I don't want to be that. I want to just stream whatever, like, variety streamer, etc., etc. Like, story, I love story games. Story games are my jam. I don't care for much for multiplayer, so... or online. I grew up with like ass internet, so I can't really I couldn't really do online stuff.
I never had like good hand-eye coordination, so I was horrible at shooters or anything like that. So yeah, I mostly RPGs myself, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not the best at shooters because of that too.
But I got you on here for the Anime Pod because, you know, I see that we talk a lot about anime online. What are some of your favorite shows?
Anytime it's like My Hero recently or DBZ, I always gotta chime in some way or another, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and if I see some like slander, I'm just like, oh, I just gotta stop, put the phone away. Like, and then what else? I've been recently I rewatched Kill la Kill with my boyfriend.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and then he didn't grow up like anime like we did. He got into it because of me, so he started watching like things other than DBC.
Showing him the light.
yeah, right. And he'll watch whatever. It's like it don't matter. Like he's just like, oh, this is like we're watching Fruits Basket right now. Cause like
okay.
we love shows that like are just he's just so open to anything.
That's the best thing is when someone's open. You said it was a rewatch. Was that his first time checking it out?
His first time watching Kill la Kill and Fruits Basket,
okay.
Yeah. And I'm just crying all over again.
Man, Kill la Kill took me a while to get into because, like, I really don't like a lot of shows about fan service, and that one is like full on embracing that. But I finally was like, enough people were saying that it's good, even though it has that, and then I finally got hooked and was full in. Like now I'm a really big fan of Studio Trigger. And Fruits Basket, you're mentioning that. That's one that I always heard good things about. And when the remake came out this year, I was like, I'm going to finally go watch the original. So that's on my watch list. I believe it was you. You were telling me also that JoJo was really good. So that's another one that's kind of, I think I got to finally get, like, even though I have the Anime Pod and everything, there's actually a lot of classic older 90s and 2000 animes that I'm still catching up on. So that's something hopefully I'll get to talk to you about maybe in the future.
Yeah, for sure. There's probably a lot of that I don't remember, just hidden in repressed memories. So, yeah.
Cool. So that's a little bit about what you're watching, and obviously the main.
Oh yeah, currently like rewatching all of DBZ.
Oh, nice. Where are you at right now?
We just finished the Cell Saga.
Cell Saga.
So we just started the Boo Saga.
Mm-hmm. Does that get you interested at all in checking out Project Kakarot, or not so much?
Oh man, if the money was there, yeah.
I hear. I hear that. I hear that.
That's another thing with like streaming. It's like you want to be playing like the latest and hottest in games and newest games, and nobody wants to watch like, oh, let's beat a Mega Man game from like the 80s. Like nobody wants to watch that. Everyone wants to watch the latest like Overwatch and whatever is new. But it's just like, how can somebody afford that? Yeah. It's like buying every single latest game.
It's hard, and this is gonna be a big year for like re-releases and big titles. So yeah, this is gonna be a struggle.
Oh, you know the number one re-release of the year.
7.
Fuck yeah, 7.
Did you play the original? Because I started playing through it when they HD kind of upscaled it, but I'm not done with it. I finished the Midgar part, which is good because that's what they are remaking in this first entry. So you'd played through it already too?
No, fun fact, I have never finished Final Fantasy VII.
But you got,
because like I would buy it on like I played it when I was a kid, and it was before I even like knew anything.
Yeah.
And I played a little bit, like I played most of like the beginning Midgar stuff, and I got somewhere. I just don't remember where I got stuck in. And then I asked my brother like, how much longer till the game's over? and he just looks at me. He's like, you ain't even past the first disc. I'm just like, fuck this. Like little 5-year-old me was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah, those older games did last a bit longer.
Yeah, like every disc, he said like every disc took him 30 hours. I'm just like, hell no. Yeah. No, I can't do that. But, so I bought it on the Switch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay,
so
cool.
I'm playing it on the Switch. Cool. And I'm debating on whether to stream that because it'd be a nice like retro stream, but it would also be just nothing but me going, where do I go?
Yeah, I definitely struggled a lot with that.
It's so weird. It's so confusing. It's so vague. Not vague, but like, I don't know. It doesn't hold your hand at all.
Yeah, no. But I did have fun with it, and since I just want to get through the story, so I have no shame about looking up walkthroughs. So I definitely had some help on the side.
Like if I get stuck somewhere, I'm just like, where's that IGN walkthrough?
Yeah, shout out IGN. Yeah. So onto the anime. So tell me a little bit about your fandom, your love for My Hero. Because that's how I knew. Okay, we're gonna talk about Overhaul. Let me get Tortilla Senpai on here, because
I started watching it like a couple years ago. And me and my boyfriend were like, why have we not watched this show like already? Like, what took so long? Like, it's like discovering DBZ. It was like discovering DBZ all over again, kinda. If that makes sense.
No, I mean it's a really big one. It's grabbing a lot of people. Like.
Yeah. And I just what can I say? It's just like I cried my ass off the first episode.
It gets you.
It got me. It was like, have you seen Yuri on Ice?
Yeah, I love Yuri on Ice.
Yeah, it's like, that moment when Victor like says he's not going to be Yuri's trainer no more, and he like immediately just started crying. That's basically the first episode of My Hero for me. Like I immediately just started crying, and I cried at that moment too. But anyways, it's just something about like everything about just how do I say it? It's so hard to like get the words out, like how much I can gush about the show. It's just it makes. I feel like I've been exercising for so long. I feel like, you can like and obsess like over these characters and story for whatever reasons and whatnot. But there's something about being like very advocate for weightlifting and training and exercising that like I feel those people can relate to. And I made a Twitter post about it, but people can relate to, and the show resonates with them a little bit more. Like on a different level,
with that drive to push your boundaries to go beyond,
to go plus ultra,
exactly.
To like get better. It was like a line that I got from DBZ too, or in Super, where like Gohan and Piccolo are training, and it's like this is your chance to become stronger than you've ever been. And I'm just like, oh, my heart. Yeah. It's like the weightlifter in me is just like, oh, like that's what I strive for. That's what I want. So it's like. Just everything about My Hero. Like, I find so much motivation from My Hero. Basically, because like I feel like I could see myself in Deku being this like little kid. I was like the fat kid growing up, and I was overweight, and I turned that all around, and I'm just who I am now. So.
For me, what I really resonate with My Hero is, that want to drive to push yourself, and where I really connected with Deku, which I don't know if you can get this at all, is I've always wanted to be like in filmmaking in any capacity, like either camera or editing, things like that. But like being coming from like an immigrant family, like I get a lot of pushback from that, like to do creative stuff, because the previous generation thinks that unless you're like a doctor or something like that, that things aren't going to come out so well. And so when I see Deku and he's getting pushed back, like, hey, you don't have a quirk, so I don't think you can be a hero. Like, that really hit home for me, because it reminded me of the kind of conversations I would have with my parents about like, wait, you want to do what? Like, I don't know if that's such a good idea. So seeing him stick to his guns and really push and try to not let people deter him, people like Bakugo like get down on him, like that's kind of why I really see myself in My Hero too. So
that's sweet. Yeah, I come from immigrant family too, and it's harder because my brother's a doctor. So it's just like, how do I beat this, you know? He's my brother is my Bakugo.
Yeah. Speaking of Bakugo, is that one of your favorite characters? I wanted to get
hell yeah, he is. Yo, oh my god, he was one of my all-time favorites. Like, it's changed. It just kind of changed with the season. Like less. He's obviously like way less in season 4.
Which I think a lot of people weren't ready for.
I think was kind of a mistake. I kind of get it, because I feel like he would have just stolen the show. Like, it would have, instead of focusing on this, everyone would have been upset. Like, we're just focusing on too much Bakugo fan service. So, I'm glad, like, it's like, I'm glad, but I'm not glad. Like, Deku got to shine, Miri got to shine, they also introduced the big 3, and so, it's like, I wanted him there, but I also, like, can understand why, like, Horikoshi didn't add him into it.
Which, this sounds like a good place to kind of segue into the main topic. We're talking about the overall arc. So, Bakugo, I'm sorry, you're taking a back seat until, the second half of the second cur, as they call it. But yeah, let's talk about the overhaul arc. So I have some beats laid out for us from some of the major moments, which you can just kind of share your thoughts on them, or we'll just talk about what we took away from these different moments. The first kind of major moment with Overhaul is that when the League of Villains tries to recruit him, right? And that doesn't turn out so well. First off, he kills Magna, and he severs twice his arm. Not twice his arm, excuse me. Compress his arm. Yeah, right?
I don't know all of the League of Villains' name. I just know all that guy with the glasses.
Yeah, the magician kind of character. I think he like cuts.
Oh, that guy too. He killed the other guy.
Yeah, he killed Magna, who had the magnetic powers. So yeah, that was crazy to start seeing villains take each other out.
I wanted this season to get gory. I was like, I want blood.
We'd seen little hints of it before, like when they infiltrated the camp, and then they talk about one of the pussycats. They kind of cut to a frame where you see blood on the floor, but that's like kind of off screen. But this is like the first time you just see like straight up just murder.
Yeah. Like, he murdered him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I was wanting more, because you see it in the manga.
Oh yeah. Like, that's another reason why I thought it'd be cool to have you on, because you read the manga, and so you have both perspectives.
Yeah, like I can, like, as I wasn't critiquing it, but I was like, oh, that was different.
Yeah, for any of the moments that we hit, totally, please feel free to drop any manga knowledge, or things that were different or left off, anything like that. Because
for sure.
I think this is a spoilercast for y'all who don't know.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah,
sorry.
So no excuses. Drop whatever you want, as long as it has to do with the overall arc. We'll be good.
Right on.
So you said it was different. It was much more gorier.
I think it was way more gory in the manga. Like, you actually see, like, in the at least, god damn it, I'm blanking right now. I don't remember if, like, in the beginning of the show, did they actually show him, like, deteriorating, or like this is like,
as far as I remember it, it's just like a big blood explosion kind of.
Yeah, I think it showed like way more in the manga. From what I remember.
Yeah. So what did you think of that moment where Overhaul isn't? He's in the cliffhanger of the previous season where Twice finds him. It's like, hey, I'm bringing you to recruit you, and then it turns out that he's a much bigger presence. He's not going to be just a henchman. He's going to be his own kind of villain.
He's another threat.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a threat to the threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought it would have been crazy to see them like join together, but the way I feel like Overhaul works, like he doesn't want help. He thinks he doesn't need it, but he took it anyway, which I thought was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. It's hard because because technically Shigaraki is the main villain.
Yeah, he's
like,
supposed to be the big bad.
Yeah, but so they didn't really. I don't think they really involved him in that until like the end.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I kind of wish they did involve the League of Villains more because they're supposed to be the main people, and then they should have just let Overhaul like take all the drag from all the fighting. But I don't know. We'll never know.
In the manga, do you see a bit more Shigaraki than you see in the anime, or is it pretty much the same?
It's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
It was I can't remember if I'm sorry. I read the manga. I read the entire Overhaul arc like October of 2018. And I read it in a day, so I'm just. I read the whole thing in a day. That
means it was good, right?
I couldn't put it down. I put oh god, it was like 40 chapters, I think, 40 plus chapters, and so my memory is a little.
And that's totally fair. Like whatever you can remember is totally cool. We don't need the exact pinpoint play by play,
right?
But whatever you can remember is totally. I'm thankful for, and I think anyone else that listens will be thankful for too.
I just don't remember a whole lot. I don't think Shigaraki was in it as much.
Okay.
Like, that much. So, like, it makes sense that they weren't in that much in the anime. But it seemed, when watching it, I thought, like, God, they're giving too much of, like, the League of Villains. All this shit's going down with Overhaul in, like, the basement cavern thing.
Yeah.
And, like, they're giving so much time with the League of Villains, and I'm just like, get to good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, come on. But, like, I mean, I kind of get it, but, like, they did take their sweet time with the League of Villains in the anime. But I get they want character development for the League of Villains, so I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, but this was cool just to have, like, two opposing villains. Two villains going against each other. That was something new, kind of.
I did want to see them fight, in a way. Like, I wanted to, like, actually go at it, kind of at the end, but, like, the way we know it turned out, it did not go that way.
We'll never get to see that, unless... The only thing I'm holding out for, which you're ahead of me since you do read the manga, I guess, but like me as just an anime viewer, I do have it in the back of my head of like, hey, you never know, like Overhaul Chisaki was really shitty, but you never know if Eri might one day control her power and rewind him back to when he has his hand. Like that's
I never thought about that.
That's kind of like the theory I'm kind of thinking. Not like a theory, but that's something that I'm always like. That's something I'm wondering. Like, could that happen in the future? Maybe.
My theory is was like he'll come back because they didn't show him. They didn't show him dying.
No, they just showed. If anything, like he was like, I want you to live because I want you to see how you failed and how I'm gonna do this right.
Yeah.
When he got rid of his arm. Yeah. Which we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
too much foreshadowing.
We had the main recruitment meeting, which didn't go so well. I think Overhaul was more like, how about instead of me work for you, y'all work for me, and tensions went high. I want to skip a little bit forward to the kind of another big moment in the arc was when we had the first meeting. Overhaul and Eri met Midoriya and Mirio for the first time when they were out on patrol, which that was such a that was a really cool scene. I really like that because there's so much tension and it's out in the open. Like you don't.
It's just there.
Yeah, it happens so fast. Like their first patrol and they just run straight into them and there was like no hiding it. Like Eri is like deathly afraid and Deku sees it right away. Mirio sees it right away. But then you got these two opposing philosophies. Like Mirio knows. You know, it's gonna suck, but we gotta let her go. And Deku just really not wanting to accept that.
Yeah. Oh God. Like that. Reading that was hard. Reading that was so hard. I was like, Mirio, you little fuck. Like, why would you do that? But then it's just like Deku. It was kind of like in season 3, where what is it? Deku wants to try something, but like Ida, he like grabs me. He's like,
they want to try to break Bakugo. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I have an idea, but like Ida's just like, no, you gotta stand back. So I think maybe he had maybe not a flashback, but like he just remembered something like, you know, me doing this probably wouldn't have been a good idea, but like maybe I should listen to the other guys, you know?
Yeah, that's something Deku's having to do. He's having to take cues from the other people around him, and yeah, like his instinct is always to act first, you know, but he is kind of learning to listen to his senpai or the other students around him, and it's good that they're there to keep him in check, because who knows how that could have turned out. I mean,
oh god,
he even started leading them down the alley, which Eri, thankfully she saves them. She knows what's about to go down, and so she stops them and you know, says that she's fine. But so that's like kind of cool that she saves them in a way, and so they're able to return the favor later. But
I always wonder, like, that shit wouldn't have happened if they had just saved her then. Like, like if only they'd listened to Mirio.
Yeah.
Who knows what?
But at the same time, there's only so much they can do. If somebody's saying this is my daughter, obviously that didn't turn out being true. But if you're a licensed hero, you're on patrol, and someone's saying that's their kids, like, there's only so much you can do in that moment.
Right.
Yeah, because we see after the whole Bakugo arc thing, I think that was when this society really does hold you down to your rules as much as it can. Like it like, even if you want to do the right thing, like, they don't really tolerate you just taking matters in your own hand as much, even if you think it's for the right reason.
True. Yeah, that's definitely how this.
Oh no, that was after the Stain. That was after the fight with Stain. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that they definitely try to follow the rules.
Yeah, but dang, that was a really intense scene there when they first meet each other.
And when they find out everything afterwards, woo! God.
Yeah.
Like, it was so intense reading that in the manga. I just couldn't. Them just feeling like so
they were
shitty.
both so down, and when they eventually have the meeting, everybody's kind of, Night Eye calls the meeting with you know, let everybody know this is the next threat we're going after, and everyone can see. Well, I don't know if it's Eraserhead or I don't remember which hero in particular, but somebody does say, hey, these two are feeling it more than anyone, because they were the ones that had her basically, but had to let her go, and you kind of made I think you made this point in a tweet. And I was feeling the same thing too, that the opening song for the season does sound like it could be from their perspective. Like,
oh my god!
Right?
Like the English translation,
yeah,
it's so heartbreaking. Oh my god!
It sounds exactly what they might be thinking during those moments of, like, you know, I let this person go and I needed to be there for them. Like,
I thought about it more about like Mirio, Mirio.
Okay.
Like what happens later to Mirio, you know, and I'm just like, oh, like Mirio to Eri. It's like, it can be, it's all of their perspectives. It can be like Deku and Mirio's perspective. It can be like Night Eyes to Mirio, Deku's to All Might, because they had a moment too, and I'm just like, just reading those lyrics, the feels, all those. Oh, no one told me. I shouldn't have done that at work either.
I watch it sub, so I think Crunchyroll does show the English subtitles, so I'd seen that too and just thought, like, man, yeah, that is one for one. I didn't think to pull it up right now, but yeah, anyone that's listening, please look up the lyrics to the opening theme. It's Polaris, right? Is that the name?
Yeah, it's the name of the song's called Polaris by Blue something. That's the name of the band.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the song and the opening, and it, like, the cherry on the cake is the fact that the lyrics go so well with the themes of
I don't know how they find these. Oh, it's by Blue and Count, yeah.
Okay.
Polaris by Blue and Count, yeah.
Everybody check that out.
Such a good song. I listen to it all the time at the gym.
There's some really good English covers out there too. Like, that's one thing I really like doing, is when the new season comes out, I like checking out all the YouTubers that cover the song and give it their own flavor.
Oh, I never do that. Oh. I always hate the English cover. I'm just like, yo, no, I can't do this.
I'm just easy.
But props to them for, like, doing that.
Yeah. Another really big encounter we see in this season, as we kind of fast forward a little bit, is we've got Red Riot. He's on patrol, and he's one of the first heroes that encounters the whole quirk boosting drug. I forget the name of the villain that he's run into, but it's someone with, like, the razor teeth, right?
Yeah.
Or something similar. Something similar to that.
Where he's just, like, his body just, like, it's just none but razors.
Yeah, yeah.
It reminds me of that Moonfish guy from season 3. That guy was creepy. I wanted to see more of him.
He was nuts, and I cannot, like, one of the, I don't know if cringe is the right word, but one of the moments of the show that just makes my back crawl is when, oh man, is it Tokoyami that I'm getting the name right? Dark Shadow. When he breaks the Moonshine dude's teeth, Like
Oh.
he grabs the razors and just like shatters them, and it's like, oh, like I felt that, like, oh.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh,
That was nuts.
it's like getting I think a toenail clippers on your front tooth or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we saw a villain do something similar, but what made him different was that, yeah, this is the first time we encounter that now there's a new drug, a bullet that enhances your quirk. And yeah, this is kind of just changes the hero landscape, that now we're seeing, you know, we've got quirks, we've got the cool support items, but now we've got, like, in a kind of a way, biological warfare. Like, we've got, like,
oh yeah.
yeah, like, it's the stakes overall in this arc just, like, get elevated a lot,
Oh yeah.
and that's definitely a moment where we see that. But the cool thing about this fight, though, is that we get to see Red Riot's unbreakable form.
Unbreakable.
Yeah, that was so cool. Like,
That was
I
amazing.
mean, at the training camp, Eraserhead talks about how, yeah, we're gonna get you guys to really push your powers, and your quirks are gonna grow. And I did not imagine. I mean, obviously, I thought he'd get stronger, but this is this is almost like a Super Saiyan transformation. Like,
Right?
like, he really changes, and that was really cool. The design is just intense. Like,
Oh god. Yeah, he's all about. It kind of reminds me of like when Deku like is about to save Eri, and he's just like, oh, what can I do if I can't save a little girl? Kind of like that moment in Full Metal. Like how am I supposed to be a man or like a hero if I can't like just man it up and like beat the bad guy, you know?
yeah.
And oh my god, like his like that's all of Kirishima's mantra is just like be a man, be fucking manly, you know? And oh god, he just had his moment. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
It was so good, and they did it really well. I feel like they did that really.
It was
well.
it was a pretty good moment, which only gets overshadowed by his, like, later fight, which we'll get to in a little bit, when he brings out the Unbreakable again with Fat Gum. But again,
Oh, yeah.
But before we get to that, we do have a really cool fight a little bit later on. After they found out, that we've got this quirk boosting bullet, we know Chisaki's kind of running something going on with this girl named Eri. Then they go to the mission, and one of the major fights on this mission to infiltrate the Yakuza is the Sun Eater fight. We also get the origin story a little bit too.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that was. I think they added a little bit more in the anime because like there wasn't a whole lot. Like there wasn't.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a lot in the because they fit. First off, they fit a really good fight in there, but second, like, you get this really cool origin story. You see how he grew up and was inspired by Toga, by Mirio.
Yeah, like I think it was a little bit more fleshed out in the anime, which I don't mind at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm wrong, someone please correct me. I don't remember. I read this a year and a half ago. I don't remember everything.
Yeah.
But I think for like I don't think it was that long or like detailed in the manga, but in the anime. But it felt a little bit shorter just because like they had to fit a fight into like a couple of like pages, or not a couple pages, but like in one chapter they had to fit like an entire fight or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I love what they did with that origin story with him, and like I loved how they did it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I can say that, but like they did it really well, and they showed us ponytail Mirio, man bun Mirio,
all the great faces of Mirio.
I love it.
I didn't know what to expect when they first showed Sun Eater, when they're kind of the big three first introduced themselves. I don't even know if he showed his power when they.
He didn't.
Yeah, and so I did not expect that. Yeah, I don't know what the official name for the quirk is, but it's really interesting that whatever he eats.
Oh, it's manifest.
Manifest. Okay, yeah, whatever he eats, he can.
I love the names of the quirks. They don't sound anything like what it's supposed to be.
They're really interesting.
But like,
yeah,
like like I don't even remember what Mirio's quirk is actually called. It's like cremation.
Well, I don't know what the quirk is called, but then they also his special move, they give it a name. Like
it's called it's like Phantom Menace.
Oh, that was so cool. Well,
yeah.
They call it, so in the English dub, I think they called it Phantom Threat, but if you I listened to the Japanese dub, and yeah, they call it Phantom Menace, and I was like,
yeah,
there we go, because I forget the name of the author, but the author of My Hero just really loves Star Wars, and so it was cool.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. A lot of the locations are named after Star Wars planets, like Tatooine, and I think Gran Torino is definitely based off of Yoda. Like, he starts off very goofy and then reveals, I'm actually very wise and stuff like that. And those I think some of the cities Oh, so Hosu City, where the whole Stain fight happens.
Yeah.
That's named after Hoth. So yeah, just a lot of Star Wars references. So yeah, Phantom Menace being a wink at Episode 1, the Phantom Menace.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, lots of Star Wars
I,
in this thing.
I thought it was just a random ass like Star Wars reference, just because I don't know, just for funsies, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, but yeah,
Wow.
if you watch back a lot of the either station names or the city names or prefixtures, whatever you want to call them, yeah, they're named after a lot of Star Wars. There are lots of winks and nods.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And like they got the JoJo's treatment because like a lot of JoJo's like not characters but stand names. They're named after bands and music and like
I heard
famous
that, yeah.
songs. But like they can't put for some reason there's something weird. They can say it in the anime, but something about subtitled like they have to change it in a way so
Yeah.
they don't get sued or something.
Yeah, and the copyright laws are a little bit different in Japan. So when they translate it here, the laws I think are a bit more strict, and so they have to change it a little bit. So they changed it to Phantom Threat instead of Phantom Menace. But
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they don't like get sued. I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
But yeah, that's oh my god, I didn't know that. Wow, that's a fun. Damn, how did I not know
Fun
that?
fun fact for you there.
Damn, thank you.
So yeah, that was a really fun fight there. We got to see his origin, which it tore my heart. You know, when we put his all in, he won, but then he also kind of put himself out of commission right there too.
Oh yeah,
But,
because he just.
but he put up a really
yeah.
good fight though.
I love that fight. I love how they did that. I like it. I like it when they don't make the fights episode after episode after episode.
Mhm. Like
Because
DBZ.
I think they ended that. No, like he met those three guys, those three goons, and that's where they ended it, where it'd be a 3 versus 1, and then they started the episode. I kind of like when they do that. It just reminds me a whole lot about DBZ. That's kind of how they did it, sorta.
Yeah.
In a way. I don't. It's just I don't know. There's something about like it's too long fights,
Yeah.
but that also like makes me like how do you say that? But you like DBZ? Well. Cause fuck it.
Yeah. But that's something, yeah, like you're saying, I really appreciate that My Hero does pace its fights a bit quicker. Like it
Oh my god,
yeah.
the pacing. Oh, the pacing in My Hero is fucking godlike.
Yeah.
I like it's. Oh my god, how I don't know. It's just how they.
in addition, like I can't count how many times I've seen this show because obviously I rewatch it myself, but I also rewatch it through watching reactors. I watch a lot of people reacting to the series, so
Oh
and a
wow.
lot of people do appreciate that. People who maybe are either new to anime or they're just finally checking this out. They're like, man, yeah, like this thing really like hits the ground running, and so
Yeah, it's just it starts from the ground up. I love the structure. I love how everything is like everything's fleshed out, but not too rushed. And it actually has like there's reasonings behind things, you know. And I don't know if that makes sense, but like I don't know the way like Deku just like since he's studied all of these quirks and how things should be and how like a hero would react. It's I don't know. You kind of like the whole show's perspective is obviously through Deku, so you kind of see how a hero would really react to that. And I'm just like, God, how is the pacing so good?
yeah.
I don't know. I just live for the pacing.
It makes it like a really easy watch, a really easy binge, and yeah, if you're, anyone listening to this should be watching My Hero, but in case you're not, get on it right now.
In case you're not, why the hell are you still listening? You don't know anybody.
The next big fight is we get the match off between Lemillion and Overhaul, which man,
Woo!
that was very epic.
There's a lot of controversy behind it.
Yeah, which I talked about briefly in like a previous episode. First off, it's everything leading up to Mirio getting shot is really cool. You see him have to struggle with using his quirk to fight Overhaul and the other goons or henchmen he has with him, while also trying to protect Eri, which that already is like really intense. But really cool to see just how strong and how much control he has over his quirk. It's just like you see, dang, like this dude is pretty much like he's
to
up
mess
there.
with, yeah.
He's up there. He's top tier hero.
Top dog.
Not even graduated.
Like, I was so mad when that happened, though. Like, I was pissed. I was like, how are you gonna introduce him and already take his damn quirk away?
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing with My Hero. It's like things happen so fast. Like you can't even blink and then someone dies or something.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, the same episode where he's kicking ass is the same one where he loses his quirk, and it's
and it's the same in the manga. I think it happened in like almost the same chapter or something like that.
And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It just reminds me of like how I personally think All Might lost his quirk way too early.
Mm.
But like I don't know what Horikoshi has like in plan for like All for One because he's still like locked up in that prison.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like he'll come back or anything like that.
Without a doubt, one day he's gonna get out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
and I'm reading the manga, so it's just like we're getting tidbits of it in the manga.
Okay.
But I think that he lost his. I think All Might lost his quirk and power like way too early.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get it's season 3, but like the first season was just only 12 episodes, so like. I don't know. That's just my opinion, and I also think Mirio lost his quirk like a little too soon.
Yeah, it would have been cool to. I mean, it was a great fight, and I would have loved to see where else he went as a hero. And
or like they could have incorporated like them training together and whatnot, kind of like how they all like
because they really do form like a partnership eventually, Mirio and Deku.
Yeah, well, like as students.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they really kind of. I feel like they kind of really finally they see a lot of each other in one another. If that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, and because in the beginning Mirio couldn't control his quirk at all, kind of like Deku couldn't. So like they definitely do see each other in each other. But what was I gonna say? But like they relate. I like how I think Deku still calls Mirio senpai.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, he still calls him his master or whatever because like he just is because it's Mirio and it's like Mirio's one of my favorite characters, probably from season 3.
Yeah, he's I really like props to him, all the props in the world for how much he stuck in there even after losing his quirk, and part of what makes it so heartbreaking is that he's always so positive that even
I know
when he knows he's about to get shot, he just has the biggest smile. I don't know what that looks
Oh my god.
I don't know what that looks like in the manga, but it is just the big because
they did that justice, I'll tell you
he
that.
really embraces the whole spirit of All Might of I'm here, and that means you'll be okay. And he wants everyone to know that. And he knows what's about to happen to him, and he doesn't want her to cry or anything. He just wants her to feel like she can feel safe. And so he puts on this big smile, and just, dang, that got me. And then to see that even after losing his quirk, that he just kept going back harder and harder and was like, hey, I'm still Lemillion. That is a really powerful line.
I will always be Lemillion.
Yeah.
That's my my heart. My heart just hurts thinking about it. But like when he explains his name, I just thought back to that when I was reading it. Like I just want to save 1 million people. And I just really love Mirio. You know. God.
And another line from that fight that really gets me is he uses his cape to kind of hide Eri or something like that, and I think one of the henchmen is like, oh, like I thought capes were just to look cool, but you're being clever with it. And he's like, no, like I'm not being clever. I'm using my cape to comfort someone. That's why heroes have it. And I was like, oh fuck, like,
damn.
Like it's so I can comfort a scared girl or something. Like I was just like, oh dang, like this dude is so pure. So pure.
Oh, he's so just everything. He's just numb with positivity. He's literally the sun.
Yeah. Which that's where the Sun Eater name comes from. Yeah.
I thought. There was also apparently a moment in the anime that not a lot of people, but I feel like people just weren't happy with. It wasn't as big as like, Mirror Fight got kind of like screwed over or whatever. But there was a little tidbit in the manga where as soon as Mirio loses his quirk, it pans. There's a little panel with Sun Eater, and he like I don't know what's exactly happening with him at that moment. But he senses Mirio's quirk. Like he senses like as soon as it's gone, he's like Mirio.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, he like tingles or whatever. Like he can just sense his energy or sense that his quirk is gone.
Dude,
I'm just
that's
like,
crazy.
bro, like. That's the biggest bromance ever.
I was kind of I'm rewatching a few scenes from Naruto, and there's a moment where are you familiar? Did you watch Naruto at all?
I read it, yeah.
When Choji is fighting off they're trying to retrieve Sasuke. Like these dudes are taking him to Orochimaru, and Choji stays to fight one of the dudes, and like it looks like Choji's about to die, and Shikamaru has a moment where he's like, oh, I think I feel my friend dying, and you mentioning that reminds me of that. It reminds me of that moment from Naruto. So
wow.
That would have been cool to if they had included that moment here. So
that's
why it's cool to have you here because you can throw out little moments like that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah, that's something that
mhm,
I didn't like that they took out
mhm.
personally.
Which reminds me, there was another controversy. So from what I hear, from what I understand, that in the manga, after he loses his quirk, there's just like a black bar or something like that to tell the passage of time, to kind of illustrate that, yeah, like that time is passing and Mirio is fighting without his quirk, and that in the anime we see that as just stills, like it's not animated, it's just like freeze frames of
Yeah.
Mirio fighting
I
Chisaki.
think someone actually like this is someone made a video
Mm-hmm.
of still shots from the manga
Mm-hmm.
compared to how the anime did it, and they kind of played back to back what was how the anime did it compared to how the manga did it on like the same screen.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as like after Mirio loses his quirk, like the manga side goes black, and then all
Yeah,
the still
that's what I
shots go
heard.
there. Yeah, so I don't. I guess like it's hard because like I don't remember. I
Mm-hmm.
probably should have reread it honestly, but I just I guess after he loses his quirk, like they just kind of added some stuff, but I guess they didn't want to actually animate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why people would be upset. I was a little upset because it kind of made to me it made it a little bit less epic, but like he still fought on his own without a quirk.
Yeah.
But like to see that anime would have added on to like Mirio's like greatness. I think.
To see those shots animated instead of just freeze frames, I that would have been really cool. But at the same time, when I was watching it for the first time, I just thought it was a really cool artistic choice. I wasn't bothered by it until I had heard that there was. Well, and even after I heard about it, I didn't have a problem with it. I just understand where people are coming from. That uh, I guess it would be weird if the anime were to just cut to a black screen for a few seconds. But yeah, they kept tampering with that. So when I first watched it, yeah, it was just these freeze frames over music, and I just thought this was really dramatic build up, and I really enjoyed it. But I guess they got so much backlash that they updated the subtitles, or they updated it to now it includes text at the bottom of the screen that I think is from the manga, saying like, in these moments Mirio fought for 15 minutes without his quirk or something like that. It kind of spelled it out a bit more.
Oh really?
Because
Oh
I
dang, I
guess
didn't
audiences
know.
were confused, like, wait, why is this freeze frame? Like, I think it was pretty obvious. Like, yeah,
I,
we're just seeing a montage
yeah.
of the fight, but apparently some people felt like that wasn't enough. So yeah, they went back and added subtitles saying, and from then on, Mirio fought for 15 minutes without his quirk. Like, really,
Oh
just
really?
spelling it out for
Interesting.
audiences. Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Damn. I didn't know that. Wow. But huh. Interesting. I like. It's hard. It's hard to say it without like pissing people off. But like that. I mean, basically, like yeah, Bones like did follow the manga,
Mm.
and they just instead of yeah, like you said, like instead of just adding a black bar, they just kind of added like they gave us like little bits and pieces of like what would have been the fight.
Yeah.
But like, but it's like, how do you? I don't know. It's like adding a little bit. It's like a little bit of filler.
Mm-hmm.
They probably, which maybe they probably should have done. I feel like they should have done, and maybe cut back to and from like I can't remember what was happening like afterwards, but I think at the end of the Overhaul fight with Mirio at least, that's when Deku like busts through the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't. Okay, which is exactly how I think it happened in the manga. So they can't really like. I thought they were gonna. They could have gone back and forth, like go to Deku and then running through the halls, and they had some like extra stuff with the League of Villains that I don't really remember a whole lot.
Yeah, there
And
were. I guess there could have been other things. They could have cut back to the Ochaku fight or stuff like that. But I think for me, it personally worked. Staying just there in the fight with Mirio and Shisaki, like, and not cutting anything, because then when you do finally see Deku bust through, like, it just hits you that much harder. Because it's almost like, for me, it's like out of sight, out of mind. I just completely forgot about Deku, and then he crashed through. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, he's here.
Oh yeah, he's here. Yeah, fucking. Oh man. Like, yeah, that's exactly how it happened in the manga. It's like, what more do you want from Bones? You know?
Which another reason why I kind of give it a pass is because like we get such a big fight later on that, I mean, it could have been a cost cutting thing. Like, hey, we'll just do these freeze frames because we need to put our budget into this bigger scene over here. So I kind of give it a pass.
Well,
for that.
not just that, but also the same studio making My Hero, like the show, is also making the movie.
Okay, so
Like they're making it at the exact same time. Some people were really upset because the people who or the director that did Like those epic, I think I don't remember. I don't know exactly who directs. Like I don't know how shows
I'm still
go in
kind of
anime.
getting. I'm still trying to like learn them too. Like it's something.
Apparently, there's like different directors for different episodes or
Mhm.
certain episodes, and there was a different director for that episode to like the actual Deku and Overhaul fight.
Oh, okay.
So like they're two totally different fights
Mhm.
because they're made or directed by two different people. But the same thing with the animators. Why they didn't animate the Mirio fight at least it could have just been because like well all their main like big bad animators are working on the movie.
Yeah, because the movies going on too. But like despite all those criticisms, like it was still a really cool fight that had me in the feels, and especially when like you mentioned, they cut back to a bit more of Mirio's backstory with his dad and him pushing.
Oh my god, that was still like a really emotional part to me. It's like oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. How could I?
Seeing tiny Mirio with the little cape and everything, like I'm gonna say
that was in the manga too. I remember that now. Gosh,
That-
how do I don't know. I have a horrible memory. So.
Same, so it's all good.
I'm not the person to be on a podcast. But whatever. But oh my god, like, and then they ended it, I think, with little Mirio walking away from the camera.
Yeah.
Or like away from the screen, and it just blacks
into
out.
the
and it's
light,
like,
into the sunset, into the bright future, and take us.
That is Mirio.
Yeah.
Oh, that was little baby Mirio.
Yeah.
And I love how he looks exactly like his dad.
Yeah, I didn't like. It's so seldom that we see parents, and so I didn't even think about that we'd ever get to meet his dad. But yeah, to see he also has kind of the Tintin or Archie kind of face. Like, yeah, that's cool. And to hear that he, so it's weird how there's these obvious rules, and I'll forget about them. Like when his dad's like, "Oh yeah, that's why I was never a hero," and it's like, "Oh wait, that's right. Like we inherit these quirks from our parents." So like, I don't know. I didn't think that his dad or his mom would probably also have that. Go through walls quirk too. Yeah.
And he got that like cape thing from like as a kid, and like his dad being like, "Do you want to be a hero?" Like, "Yeah, I want to save people," and like he's always carried that like cape thing for like comfort. And like, I can't get enough of it.
Like I said, he's just so pure, which makes it so hard to watch later when he almost gets Eri out of there, but then when he's fighting with Night Eye, he incapacitates Night Eye and I think anyone else, and then Chisaki says like, everybody's gonna die unless you come back, and she comes back to him and is like, yeah, like he Overhaul uses the truth quirk on her and says like, do you really think these people can save you? And she says, oh wait, I'm jumping ahead. This is after Deku shows up. So immediately loses his quirk. Deku shows up. Everybody claps. Everybody roars into applause. But he has trouble with the fight too, and it gets to the point, where Eri says, "Yeah, I don't think these guys can save me, so I'll just go with you because I don't want them to die." And man, like it's so hard to listen to Chisaki like talk about how like you're a curse, like people die because of you. Like he's just really puts her down, and
it's messed up.
It's really messed up. Yeah, it's so different from Shigaraki. Shigaraki's salty, and Stain
Bitter.
is very prideful and very judgmental of the Hero Society. But like this is the first time we see somebody really manipulating someone emotionally and putting them down, like and
manipulating. Yeah. And that was terrible. Like I felt so bad for Eri. I felt so bad because in a way it's kind of true. Like people are like Mira did lose his quirk because of her. Like.
Which the thing is that these are their choices. All these bad things are happening to people, but like that's because they want to, and he's making her feel bad for that. But really, like don't feel bad for that. Like that's their choice. Like they are making that decision that's what they want to do. They want to be a hero to you, and she's just still has trouble accepting and believing that until later on. Which I guess we can ease into the big fight, Deku versus Overhaul.
Oh my god! And then that just oh my god! I cried so bad to that scene where she like realizes that she like maybe I do need to be saved. Like I have to let them save me. Like then everything will. Like they'll defeat this villain, and once they won't have to deal with this villain per se. If they do save me. Yeah,
the fight's going on and everything's getting destroyed, and she gets kind of separated from the major part of. Well, she's there with Chisaki and. Seeing that no matter how bad things get, Deku keeps going after her, and he's getting cut up and everything, and she finally kind of understands that they're not going to stop. like they are not going to stop, and
Oh
so
no.
I need to decide what do I want, and that's kind of when we start getting finally the backstory on Eri, and not only Eri's backstory, but you also get Overhaul's too, and how.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about that too. But he kind of has a similar backstory to Shigaraki.
I think in general, like it seems like the big theme of the show is like how the role models in our life shape us in different ways. Like obviously Deku has All Might, Shigaraki has All for One, and then we see this other version, which is I forget the name of the big boss, but Overhaul's Yakuza boss that took him in. And
He actually tried to like make him better.
yeah, I was
Which,
really like
yeah.
I thought maybe I thought maybe he really treated him like shit or something like that. But no, it turns out that he treated him well, and that's what turned around on him, is that Chisaki went overboard trying to repay him for saving him.
And he just, I don't like it, whatever. I don't know. He's just actually like a manipulative psycho or something like that. I feel like the same kind of way. The thing, I don't want to ruin the manga for you. That's the thing, because I don't. Yeah, I just realized when I said they do have similar backstories. Only one of them is a all bad backstory, and this one is could have been a good backstory turned bad because of said person.
We'll find out when those things get added in. Is there anything in the manga as far as Eri or Overhaul's story that got left out of the anime?
I feel like the fight was longer.
Oh, okay.
I think
A bit longer.
I feel like it actually went on for a little bit longer. God damn it, I'm trying to remember. Dang, I really should have reread that.
Maybe it just goes back to the whole pacing thing. Maybe they just wanted to make sure it was still kind of tight.
Yeah, and like all in one episode and not like multiple, because they only have so many. They only have so many episodes to do that. But I just loved how they did it too.
In this fight, we finally hear for real what her quirk is. I mean, when we start introducing the bullets that first off temporarily get rid of your quirk, and then eventually with Miria that permanently gets rid of your quirk, I just assumed that that's in general what Eri's quirk is. Like maybe her blood just gets rid of it, but you find out that Overhaul, like he using his quirk of reassembling properties and stuff, he specially made the bullet like that. But that's not in general her quirk. Her quirk is actually rewind. I was like, what did you think when that was the reveal?
I thought it was totally different in the manga. Like I could have sworn it's like reverting things back.
They might have changed the name of it, but that's how he describes it. Is that it's a quirk that reverses things to a certain degree, and depending on how you use it, it might erase you to a previous state to where you're healed. It reverses your body before it got injured, or reverses you before existence, like it did with her dad. Which, by the way, is super tragic that she couldn't even.
Yeah, that was messed up. Yeah, like I don't know, like. And then like her mom abandoning her because she's like, I don't know what the hell to do with this kid.
That's so sad. Like we see like the relationship with her and her mom in the ending song for the season, and it looks like a really it looks like a family full of love. It looks like they both have each other and care about each other, and then to find out that after the dad was killed by accident, that she abandoned her. It's like, dang, like that is that's next
even more
level.
tragic.
Like I said, all the stakes. Emotional stakes, everything is just really elevated in this season. It's like I feel like almost takes the show in like a new direction.
Morbid. Like darker.
Yeah.
Like I love the fact that this season was way more darker. I wish, like I said, I wish they could have showed more like gore and more blood, but like I can understand why they didn't. I don't know. I thought that as bad as it is and her situation was, Aries' quirk and Overhaul's quirk, I feel like they just go really, really well together.
Yeah.
Like, as horrible, even like used for bad, it still goes well together.
Yeah. He was able to really. Well, man, it sounds really bad to say, but yeah, he was really able to creatively apply her quirk in a way that probably no one else would have thought of. That he can boost quirks with it, he can take away quirks with it, and he even had the plan to. That was a crazy plan, by the way, when he finally says, "I'm gonna create a war with people. I'm gonna create the bullet to take away quirks for the villains, and I'm gonna create the serum for the heroes, and just make them fight it out, and I'm gonna be rich." And I was like, dang, that is a really crazy but effective plan. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it could have worked out perfectly, but...
But just to imagine, like, what that world would be like, you know, just this new drug warfare going back and forth, just like...
Like villains get stronger than the heroes.
Yeah, that would have been wild.
That's, I can only... it's still really... It would have been like the Unbreakable episode, but like times 10.
Right. Just for heroes all around. And so in this fight, they introduce the Ares backstory, Overhaul's backstory. We get formal. We finally announce the quirk, and also we get her moment where she finally takes action on her own. She's been letting Overhaul kind of dictate pretty much anything she does, but she finally, in this fight, being inspired by Mirio when she sees the cape and reminded of like everything he did for her to protect her, and seeing how badly Deku's getting hurt, like she's like, I gotta make a move, I gotta jump. And so yeah, she separates Overhaul from the henchman that he bonded with and makes the leap for Deku, which goes into probably one of my favorite parts of this whole show.
My favorite fucking part was this.
We get Might plus You, which is You Say Run, but it's remixed and with lyrics, and it's in English. I was so surprised that I was hearing English lyrics. Which...
That's one thing that I thought was really weird, and I thought I wouldn't have liked. It's a soundtrack from the movie.
Yeah,
they made it for the movie, but I guess they added it to the show.
Maybe it's the kind of promotion kind of thing. Like, hey, we got the song, and we have a really powerful moment, so let's just use that. Like,
it makes sense. Probably because like you like the song, well, you'll see it in the movie. Kind of like last season, actually, they did like a really big filler episode during season 3, and it was just like you know, like training, and then like at the end, there was that. Watch the movie, by the way.
Yeah, it was a commercial in the actual show.
Yeah, and it's like, wasn't that fantastic? Here's 2 heroes next month. Bye. But it was, so I can see like that kind of place. I'd much rather have that. If that was really their intention, I would have much rather have seen that instead of like wasting an episode in all filler. But I've seen so much slander about that song.
Really? I haven't seen that at all.
It makes my fucking blood boil.
Tell me about what you're seeing, because there's
people on Twitter like any Twitter, whatever that any Twitter. Like people just like.
Wait,
I don't know, people are just tearing the song apart.
The only thing that I've seen is that, like, some of the Demon Slayer fans are like, oh, like, Demon Slayer did it first or something like that, which, like, I think that's just
some bullshit. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Right? I'll tell you that here.
That's the only thing that I've seen is that Demon Slayer fans saying, like, hey, my hero's just copying Demon Slayer, which, like, people using songs to heighten fights is, like, going on for, like, a long time. Like...
The Demon Slayer one wasn't even emotional.
For me,
in my opinion.
Anything makes me emotional, so I get that. But at the same time, I don't think there's any reason for them to, like, call out My Hero. Like, I thought it was a great moment. I thought it was a great song. I think the lyrics, like, just like the opening song, go really well. Even though I'm sure the lyrics are meant for the movie, I think the whole point of, you know, it being about somebody trying to be there for someone else, like, I think that fits really well with that whole scene of Deku trying to say, like, I'm gonna get you, I will save you finally.
I think it also mentions something about sacrifices too.
Yeah, sacrificing yourself.
So like Ares making somewhat making a sacrifice. Like
they're both in my eyes, anyways. They're both putting themselves on the line. As scared as she's ever been, she's finally taking that leap of faith thanks to both Mirio and Deku, and just makes a literal leap of faith into Deku's arms. Yeah.
And oh my god, like I don't care. Like. If you don't like that song, get out of here. Like that song just embodies everything My Hero related. Like I swear to God. And
it already would have been cool just having a song in there, but the fact that it is a lyrics version of You Say Run, which is just like this, you know, one of the OST tracks that happens through so many of our favorite moments. Like I think it plays during episode 10 when the Deku versus Todoroki fight, which is one of my favorite fights. At the end
it does. Yeah. I remember that now. Yeah, I remember recently that Toonami was showing it, and I don't remember. Does it play during the All for One fight with All Might? I don't think so.
I don't think I don't know about that. They might be using like either a different it might be using like an All Might theme for that or something like that. But I was rewatching
Probably.
the beginning of My Hero again, and yeah,
Oh,
they
nice.
use it. They just use it all the time. So to see this
They also use that other one. What's it called? Oh, damn it. Oh, it's
oh,
another one, but it starts with like a guitar.
I don't know if
They use it in the provisional license one.
I don't know if we're thinking about the same one, but another track that I really like. It's called My Hero, and it's the one where
Oh, the training arc?
yeah,
Is it
when
the
when he
training arc where
when he punches the muscle dude.
Oh wait, is that what it is? God damn it. Oh man, I have a horrible memory. I'm so sorry.
Everybody go watch My Hero. Just watch it all over again and correct us on all these
I
songs.
clearly need to do that. Even
But Might Plus You, just to get back to Might Plus You, which by the way, that's the name of the
Yeah.
song that gets released, Might Plus You, and it got me. It got me, and anytime I hear it, it's just such a fantastic emotional song.
it's just also emotional for me because like I listened to like I said earlier in the episode like I just kind of think everything with My Hero back to like weight training and lifting.
Yeah.
I listen to that all the time. I listened to it today at the gym,
Yeah,
and
pushes
like
you.
I always find it like some sort of inspiration because I just remember the training. Well, they didn't play it during like the training with All Might. That's the one that's the one I was referring to.
Oh,
By
okay.
the way, it literally says like My Hero. Kind of sounds like it sounds like it would be a rap song in the beginning. I don't know if that makes sense, but then like it literally like goes into it just says My Hero. All the time.
Oh, okay. It kind of has.
That's the training one.
It's kind of got like a hip hop kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like a rap song in the beginning,
Yeah.
but it's not. But that's the one I was kind of referring to, and I listen to that one all the time too, and like it just that. But the hero that the You Say Run one, that I also listen to, and like I find just so much inspiration from both of them.
The music in
And
general, this show just has like some fantastic, yeah.
It's incredible. I don't remember the name of the person who like
The
I think
composer.
the composer. Yeah, I don't remember the name, but like whoever he is, like. It's up there. It's on God tier level. Like
Yeah.
I love it. Like he can not do any wrong. But I don't know if he composed the Might You one, but like I was saying, like I find emotional and inspiration from like You Say Run. So to make You Say Run into like a piano for one, and then to add lyrics
Yeah.
to it, like really emotional lyrics to it. I was just like, oh my god.
Which the vocalist, I think the vocalist's name is Michaela Phillips, and she doesn't have much like of a filmography of a discography. I mean, but like that, like for someone who doesn't have that many songs under her belt, like she really knocked it out of the park with this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I typically don't like I know Japan does do like Japan bands do add English into their songs, but to do an all English, she sounds American to be honest.
Yeah, I think she is
Is she?
American.
Yeah, so like that's really random. Like I don't know why they did it, but like I'm glad they did
Yeah,
it.
it's an interesting choice that ended up working out. Yeah, I think she had I looked up the song when it came out, and it was either under her YouTube channel or her YouTube channel made a comment on someone that uploaded it, and she was like saying a thank you, like thank you so much. And it was all in English, like she was saying. It was a fantastic opportunity, and so yeah, it seems like they just they found an American vocalist and reached out to them and collaborated, and it turned out to be like a really really cool song that gets me crying and emotional and everything.
I know it's so it's oh god I can't.
My Hero does that. My Hero does that. Yeah.
It's My Hero's all about emotions. It may be a shonen, but it's all about the emotions.
It's all heart.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's all heart. Yes, yes.
So that song, it ends with Deku unlocking 100%, full cowling, which is where we get the name of that episode, Infinite 100%. And man, it is so cool to see Deku use his wits and be like, oh, her rewind is going out of control. Well, that means that I can just push myself like 100% and even beyond, as long as I'm going as strong as I possibly can. Then like he says like, Eri, let me use your quirk, and your quirk is a blessing. And that is just, I think, really powerful. It says a lot about Deku, and it also, like, I think is one of the first times that she's probably heard, like, a positive thing at all about herself, let alone about this quirk that, like, Overhaul always saying, like, your quirk, all it does is destroy people and kill people, this and that. Like, and for him to say, no, like, we're going to get out of this because of you, like, that's just a really powerful moment too.
That's an interesting ass perspective. Dang, I never thought about it like that. Wow.
My Hero, y'all.
But yeah, that's his famous. Can you will you lend me your power? Like he literally has a hospital on his back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some people were calling it like a battery pack or a healing pack, but like, but it was cool that like it was like so much. It was saying
It
so.
makes like her perfect. It makes her like a huge asset in
Hmm.
the show, and it really makes me look forward to like what more can she bring in the future.
And like the
It's
cherry on the cake is the fact that she's holding on because she's also wrapped up in Mario's
in Mario's
cape.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, it's just so many levels to it. So yeah, he unlocks 100% and just starts going to town on Overhaul, and we just see some awesome Sakuga animation in this fight. We got this green lightning coming out of. Well, we've always seen the green lightning as part of full cowling, but now like it's people have been saying like this is the My Hero version of Super Saiyan. Like his hair is standing up, everything's blue, his eyes are glowing green. Like it, this is a new level of full cowling, and it's just a really cool fight to watch. And yeah, go. I'm gonna pass it to you.
I just wish it was like like I said, I think it was a little bit. It felt a little bit longer when I was reading it, but like I feel like they did it well. I just wish it was longer.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, don't we all? Yeah, that was like
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I wish someone would make like a panel by panel like manga
I'm sure
versus
that's out
anime.
there. And YouTube does all those things, so I'm sure there's someone out there that did it one for one.
Or I could just go back to and read my Viz app and just reread it.
Yeah.
Like
everybody everybody read manga on your phone these days.
Right? Yeah, everybody go download the Viz app. It's $1.99. Get the Shonen Jump app. Yeah. It's only $2. Damn. Oh, I just loved that. And, I think they did it a little bit different though.
I'd be curious to see, how they compared.
Because I remember like 1,000,001 like punches like going.
Does that have a name? Because I don't know if in the anime if he said anything. Did they call that move something?
I don't think so. I think he just went to town on him.
Yeah, that was like a lot of people made comparisons to One Punch Man when he gives those punches that just create this sea of fists coming at him.
Oh, dang. I didn't even make that comparison. Damn.
It had been a while since I'd seen One Punch Man, but I think there are some shots in that show that have a similar kind of look of like just seeing like this barrage of fists coming at the villain, and it just looked killer. And seeing
it did,
like when they do the close up of Shisaki and you just see the reflection of all the lightning and stuff, like they just really
I don't think that was in
out of the park. Yeah.
I don't think that was in the manga. At least I'm pretty sure. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that was in the manga. So I really like how they did that. That was he just knows like he's fucked. He's down for the count.
He's so out. And when during that barrage of punches, he's just knocking off. Like so before we even get to that part, Overhaul gets another one of his dudes and bonds with him to create like this giant super soldier thing, and with this giant ugly looking monster version of himself. And the barrage of punches just destroys everything.
Every bit of that.
Destroys all the limbs. And I had heard that you don't hear this in the anime, but I had heard that in the manga. You know, kind of in the manga, you can hear more of the character's thoughts, but apparently Deku says, like, I'm going to punch you so hard that you can't heal. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. I guess so, because part of Overhaul's ability is to, like, reassemble himself. And so, yeah, part of that attack was to hit him so hard and so fast that he wouldn't be able to react and rebuild himself. And, yeah, that was nuts seeing him do 100% smash up in the air. And then just
all that damage.
Yeah, take him out. And yeah, we get that at the end of it. Yeah, we do see Night Eye be like, yo, what the fuck? This kid changed the future. Like, he proved him wrong, which I think leading up to that moment, yeah, I mean, this is kind of the way anime works. I had, without a doubt, that Deku would be able to change. Like, if Night Eye says, this is not going to end well, Deku's going to die, Ares going to die, I knew that was going to change. But, I didn't know how Night Eye would react. And it was like, it got me that you only see for a split second, but after he realizes that Deku changed the future, like, the screen goes to black and you just see him smile. And it's like, dang, like, Night Eye is always so stoic and kind of, like, serious, and to see, and
Debbie Downer.
To see him smile, like, to have some hope, it's like, holy shit, like.
He's like, maybe the future can be changed, and then he just remembers like, if that can happen, I'm like, what's All Might's future like?
Yeah.
You know?
Which brings us to the aftermath. We're kind of coming to the end of the overall arc here. The heroes all come. I mean, not the heroes. The police arrive, start arresting people, and we get the aftermath at the hospital with everybody saying their goodbyes to Night Eye. didn't know that he was gonna die. Well, I didn't think he'd die because, yeah, we had.
Yeah,
The,
they really kind of trick you. Yeah, they make it so like you'll be fine, but
Mhm.
like
Well, we'd seen so many close calls. We've seen so many like people just like really pummeled and in past fights. But like, except for that villain when Overhaul kills Magna, like it's so rare that we actually get death. And I was really thinking that night I was gonna make it. Like just the fact that he had this giant spike just in his stomach for most of the past 3 episodes, I was like, well, he's not dead now. He's just never gonna die. Like, he was gonna be fine. And so the fact that they actually did have a moment where like, yeah, he's not gonna make it to tomorrow, and he didn't. He only made it through the conversation. Honestly, yeah.
no, that hit so much harder in the anime, which is kind of surprising because like there was some parts like in that in the very beginning where Deku confronts All Might about his quirk and about him like seeing, or he didn't know about like, oh, I was like potentially the second choice when Mirio was the first one. Oh God, I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say that was something surprising to me was we didn't. I tried to keep the conversation mostly to the Overhaul moments, but yeah, like we can definitely mention that too. That yeah, we get the reveal that Night Eye was really pushing for Mirio to get the position of like being the successor, and I didn't think we'd get so many conversations between everybody about, yeah, like, was that the right decision? And
was it the right decision? Yeah, it's always like the question in the back of my mind is like, would Mirio have been a better like successor for One for All, or
in a way,
or, like,
I don't think so because
really,
I mean, he have been a great offer. Would he have been a great successor? Absolutely, I think he would have absolutely been a fantastic new symbol of peace because, like we've said, he's so pure, he's so positive. But at the end of the day, even though he has the maturity to say something like, "Hey, Deku, I know you want to save Eri now, but you know we can't let him know that we're on to him." Like, even though he has that maturity, he also didn't. It also he had a certain weakness about him. He let himself. Let's just say if he had the power of One for All, then he might have lost it in that fight because he put Eri in front of him. He put her safety in front of his own, before, and that ended up affecting
being his downfall.
He lost his quirk. Who knows if he would have lost One for All at that point? You know,
he always puts like other people. His downfall is he always puts other people before
which it's really admirable. But at the same time, who knows? Even if he was able to get out of that moment, even if he didn't lose One for All in that moment, just that you can kind of imagine where in the future, even though he's a great hero, that weakness could, you know, be turned around.
He could have lost.
Could get exploited. Like that's why they shot at her, because they saw how true his feelings were. He completely wore his feelings on his sleeve, and yeah, they used that to his advantage. And that's how villains work. They find your weakness and they exploit it. And so, obviously, Deku, we've seen more than once that he has his own personal weaknesses too. But at the same time, he still is somehow able to come out on top or push past those, and so I do still think Deku still has plenty more to grow, but I think we're going to see in that growth that like he really was the best choice for this.
Yeah,
but we still see him like wrestle with that, because he says to Mirio in the next scene, I don't know if it's in the next scene or the next episode, which I don't want to get too far in advance, but like we have that moment where he says like, should I give you my power? Like, I think it is after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where.
It's after that episode. Yeah, it is.
Which that's as far as we'll go in the future. Is just me saying that, like, yeah, he does straight up say like, dude, like, should I be giving this to you now? And he says, nah, man, like, it's
awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, kind of rewinding a little bit. Hey, Eri, rewind. Yeah, we get that moment where yeah, everybody's saying goodbye to Night Eye, and dude, I cannot believe they actually killed him.
Yeah, that was one death that I was really surprised, because you never seen death in My Hero, and like you almost saw death in My Hero, like with like the muscular fight or muscle fight. I keep calling it muscular. But that was, if anybody, I thought for some reason they were gonna kill Mirio. Like when I was reading it, I thought something was gonna happen to Mirio, because like how's he gonna fight the villains without a quirk?
Yeah, exactly. Which I guess we'll see in future episodes, because he's still around. We see him in the hospital. He's beat up, but he goes and he's able to say his goodbyes to. And that was really hard to watch too, because you definitely see that they have a similar relationship to Deku and All Might. Like like it does seem like at first Night Eye was just like, hey, I'm just gonna use you. You're like someone I think is worthy, but then you see like he really does have a genuine affection for Mirio, and
like he actually cares for Mirio, kind of like All Might sees Deku as a son. Yeah. And it was like, I don't know why, but like I was, like how we got backtracked, but like I was saying, that scene hit harder for me in the anime than it did in the manga, whereas vice versa, that scene where Deku confronts All Might hit me way more in the manga than it did in the anime. I don't know why, but like I just
sometimes it's like that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, that's just it's just the way anime works sometimes. It's like you can love it, like I don't know, it just, God, how do I say it?
It is interesting to see how they change things up, or what the
like
difference creating your own pacing or music in your head is versus like seeing how they produce it, the scene instead, how they incorporate music or how the voice actors do. Yeah, sometimes
because like in the death of Night Eye, like it wasn't that emotional. I think it was just like seeing Mirio like going, "Senpai, don't die," and then like flatlines.
Just a bit. Okay, yeah. So I guess if you have the opportunity, yeah, why not? You know, really milk the emotion for it.
That hit me so hard seeing Mirio cry like that, and then like when he said like you'll be fine, Mirio, like you'll be a fine hero, and he's just like, he saw into the future. That could, I don't know, like that's also, I don't know, that could be a bad thing too, because now all the like anime onlys are probably like, oh, Mirio's gonna get his quirk back.
But yeah, a lot of people were thinking that, and so I'm glad that they kind of addressed that right away. They were like, nah, like I mean, everybody thought that as soon as I heard that, that Aries quirk was rewind, I was like, oh, cool, like I hope she can eventually use that to restore his quirk. And like I said, I watch a lot of reactors, and a lot of them were thinking the same thing too, and so it's cool that they kind of addressed that right away, and they're like, yeah, I can see you want to do that, but like she's just not there yet. It's completely out of control. She needs to be quarantined. We can't even go see her right away. Like it really squashed those hopes, you know. And
it's not like I'm saying that I don't want it to happen. I'm just like, I pray that it happens.
Yeah,
like I hope Mirio gets his quirk back.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if they can actually, once it's been taken away, it's like, can it really go back? I don't know. Like there might be loopholes, or there might be some like, kind of like with like Dragon Ball Z, like you can wish someone back to life, but like there's rules to that, you know.
Yeah.
So there might be like, they might add some rules to that.
I'd like to see it for two reasons. One, because it would be like, he's worked for this so long, like I feel like he deserves his quirk.
He earns it.
Yeah. And secondly, if she does control her power, then like that's a win for her too, because this is something that Overhaul didn't even explain what her quirk was to her. She just kind of instinctively stumbled upon it. And so if she does get to the level where she can restore someone's quirk, like that says a lot about her growing as a hero too, that she can like think of like how much good she can do with that, healing people's wounds.
Because she always thought her quirk brought like pain. She probably like always thought her quirk
she probably just thought
pain.
This would never be something I could use to help people. And now that she has these new role models and heroes in her life, hopefully, you know, she'll have a new opportunity to do some real good with it and learn how to appreciate her quirk. Yeah.
God, I hope so. I hope so bad.
So that is the Overhaul arc. It was really cool, like looking back at those moments, going down memory lane. And we have a few comments and questions from some of the pals out there that we'll go over.
Thank you for the questions, y'all.
Yeah. First we have from @AcastMex. The question is, what was the first what was your favorite part of the arc?
Oh, it looks like, what was your least favorite part of the arc? Maybe he's asking favorite and least favorite.
Oh, okay, cool. We'll answer those. Yeah, what was the least and favorite part of the arc?
Oh God, that's hard. Well, like, there were certain, I don't know, this might be a little bit too nitpicky, but like, you know how like My Hero has an amazing OST and an amazing soundtrack, but like there were just some moments where like they didn't add any music. Like, did you notice that? Like while they were running through like the hallways, and, like, the basement, they didn't add anything, and I hate it when shows do that. I hate it. It was just like I understand they might like try to build the suspense without music, or just like, hey, there's a serious moment. It doesn't need music, but like it just reminds me of when I tried watching Dragon Ball Z subbed, not subbed. I tried watching Dragon Ball Z. Like, I remember when I was in the middle school, I downloaded like all of Dragon Ball Z, but it was the English dub with the Japanese OST.
Oh, okay.
And that is so hard for me to watch because like I just don't like how it sounds.
It's
like,
different. It's different from what we're used to. It's from it's an older anime. Like we got it way after, and so we're used to a different kind of music.
Right, and like to make epic moments like more epic, you know, and it does. But when I rewatched, like I think I rewatched the whole Saiyan saga and majority of the Namek saga like that before. I was just like, okay, I can't. Yeah, I was just like, I can't do this silence. Like, I just noticed, like, why is it so different from when I was a kid? It just reminds me of that, but that happens a lot in the Japanese OST. They just don't play music at all during, like, really serious fights and, like, stare downs before a fight. You'd hear that, the little doon, 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 doon from, like, the Falconer OST, which, shout out to the Falconer OST. It's top tier. I don't care what anyone says. Like, Japanese OST, it's, you know, it's great. It's whatever, but, like... I just can't. Like, if you like it, that's fine. But like, I'm a Falconer person.
So any moments that like they put a pause on the music, not didn't dig it.
Yeah.
For me, one of my least favorite parts, I guess, was the whole explanation of when what's her name? Toga and Twice. Is it Toga? Is that her name?
Yeah, Toga.
Toga and Twice, when they were kind of separated. And they started going over what the actual plan was. Like, I had rewatched that a few times because for some reason I was kind of confused by.
Yeah, I was just like, why are they spending so much time?
So something about the way they wrote that was confusing. Like, I got that they were trying to trick the dude in the walls to reveal himself, but I couldn't tell if they were just going rogue or if they were going off of Shigaraki's plans. Like, at the end of it, like, I get what they were doing. They were, you know, sabotaging the, you know, Overhaul's crew. But something about the way they wrote that and the way those scenes played out, they felt just kind of like, this is what I'm going to fast forward through when I rewatch it.
Yeah, like, I felt like, I don't know, they just kind of spent a little bit too much time. I get how everyone loves Twice, or people more so like Toga more than anything else. Like, she's a very big fan favorite or villain favorite.
I like Twice a lot, and I was glad that I finally got, if anything, I'm glad I finally got an explanation for why he has that, the tape measure. Because he says he needs to measure someone's dimensions in order to...
Oh, yeah.
Which, like, I had seen it before, but I was like, wait, what a weird weapon that he has, like, a razor-sharp tape measure. But I didn't get it, but I kind of am glad I got a little bit of explanation. But other than that, I didn't really like their scenes that much.
Their scenes, they... Yeah. Like, I get we get what they were trying to do with them, but, like, I don't know, I feel like, they were so minuscule in the manga, I think. And I think they kind of just dragged them on a little bit too much in the actual anime.
As far as favorite, it's going to be the Might Plus You, just that song, that musical moment. That's my favorite moment of this whole
Yeah, okay, yeah, we can agree about that. I can agree
I definitely want to give a shout out, though. We didn't talk about it too much, but we had the reprise. We had the reappearance of Red Riot's dang, I wish we'd talk about this more, but we had
his second fight.
The second fight where we had Fat Gum, which, man, Fat Gum is such a cool character.
I know. Oh, shout out! How did we not? We're trash.
Yeah.
We're terrible. We didn't talk about Fat Gum. But yeah, Fat Gum. Like, I love Fat Gum. Everyone, like, he's such a. I don't know. He just cares. It's another like mentor, father son like mentor thing with Kirishima and Fat Gum.
He's such a gutsy guy. Just like really like just. Really likable. First off, it's a really cool character design, both versions of him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Skitty and Fat Gum.
You got the Totoro version, and then we got this like really cool like, dude, this dude's hot. Like when he gets skinny, he's fucking hot.
Like this dude's like another Aizawa.
Yeah. And just the fact that he's like, no, I'm not a shield, I'm a spear. I'm just building up all this power, and then I'm just gonna hit you once with it. Like, dude, he's. And I really like the character, the voice actor. I mean, too. Like that was a really good fight.
Oh yeah, the same guy that does his Japanese voice. It does Jonathan Joestar's voice.
Oh, okay.
From JoJo.
The reason why I gotta check out JoJo.
Oh, absolutely. There's a million reasons.
Yeah. We'll take advantage of this moment to also talk about it was really cool finally seeing a little bit more backstory on Kirishima and how he was actually friends in middle school with why am I forgetting her name? But the pink girl.
Mina.
Asida? Is her name something?
No, is it? I think it's Ashido.
I think it's something like that. But like
Ashido, but like
we're kind of friends back then, and like seeing that Kirishima had trouble with courage, and it wasn't until Red Riot inspired him and saying that fear is a part of it, but the only thing worse than fear is what happens if you give into that fear. And it's like that's what pushed him, and seeing that he admired his classmate, that now he gets to go to school with her, and I never would have, like, if you'd asked like what two people in this class like have history, I never would have guessed those two, because they hardly ever interact or anything, and
they never interact.
Yeah, and to see that not only were they in each other's class, but he really admired her courage, which in the end she's like, I was acting courageous, but I was really scared too when she helps her classmates out from that big dude,
she just
back then.
The dude asking for the police.
Yeah, he was asking for like, I forgot what he was looking for. He was looking for a station, and she's like,
he's looking for something, but
I sent him to the police, but
yeah,
which we get a hint of that guy later on,
which is so like that's the last place I would ever think Kirishima would find like courage from, is like one of his like female classmates. As that sounds bad, but like
I see what you mean. Yeah,
but like that's another reason why I loved it. Like that's like I like her way more after I read that.
And they really show, like, she's always been like a really positive character, like a really fun person to watch. But when in the flashback, when you see that she's able to inspire people, like there's the fight that Kirishima wanted to break up, and then he failed to do that, and she takes that situation and made everybody friends. Like she didn't even beat those bullies up. She those bullies and the dude that they were bullying that could turn leaves into money, like she was breakdancing with them and became joking with them, and she just totally turned the situation around. And it's like, dang, like like she has it where it counts. Like, yes, she has her cool quirk, but she also has, like, on the inside, like, she was able to turn it around into a positive way. And so it was cool getting, like, double backstories on these characters.
And he and then Kirishima ends up turning into, like, a really positive character himself. So I feel like
it was cool that we got to backtrack to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like a what do you call it? So as far as favorite moments, that's definitely an honorable mention, was like getting to see that backstory and how it pushed him to finally be like, yeah, my arms are breaking, but like I'm fucking like the next Red Riot, and I'm gonna stand in front of and like push myself, because the only thing worse than being afraid is what happens if I let the fear control me. And yeah, he became a better hero from it. And like that gave me like one of my favorite scenes too, was when Bagum said like, you're gonna regret when you underestimated the chivalry of Red.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
So way to go, Kirishima.
Shout out to that. Yeah. Shout out to Mina. I think her name is Mina.
Mina. I think that was maybe her first name or last name.
Yeah.
Did you have a different favorite moment you wanted to shout out?
Oh God, what was it? Oh, different favorite. Dang, I'm trying to think. Other than like, I don't know. I feel like, the fight with Sun Eater and
Sun
the
Eater,
guys. That's a different honorable mention too.
Yeah, he really won me over. When I first saw him, I'm like, he seems kind of like an interesting character. I'm sure there's something to him, but like, to fully become invested in him and his backstory, it's like, oh man, like my son.
He became way more likable. And like, another thing, another least favorite thing actually, like we didn't get anything about Nejiri.
Yeah, we saw that her quirk was like, she can.
It's like wind.
Do spiral beams or something, and she can fly, and like, like she just kind of got like a comedic relief moment. That was It was like, kind of.
We didn't get. I don't think we got enough of her.
Yeah.
I really wish we did get more of her.
Yeah, no, but it was, thing. But a little small shout out. Like it was cool seeing Froppy and Ochaka put in their all too.
Yeah, like Froppy is like one of my least favorite characters from the show.
Really?
Honestly.
Oh dang, I really like her.
Yeah,
I think she's just like really cool. I think that
I liked her emotional moments, but like I'm glad like first season 1 and 2, like all the merch for My Hero was like Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, and then Ochako and Froppy. Yeah. Like that was like nothing. That's all you saw was Froppy.
Got a bit oversaturated, a bit too much.
I just don't care for her, man. I don't know what it is.
We all got our heroes and all got our favorites and least favorites. We can't like everybody.
I'm glad that they're slowly taking her out and incorporating Kirishima.
Yeah.
Because he's basically replacing her, and I'm so happy.
Everybody will get their moment to shine.
Sorry, Froppy fans.
Next question we have from at Concept with a K 33. What were your thoughts on Overhaul? As bits of childhood were revealed, what did that change your opinions about him when you kind of got? So yeah, so overall thoughts on Overhaul, and did the backstory change your feelings about him at all?
It made me feel more sorry for the boss. Cause,
yeah,
oh
my gosh.
we didn't talk about the boss because he like messed up the boss. He like not killed him, but like he did something
he put
to
him in the
where
hospital.
He messed up.
Yeah,
and he messed up his insides. And like I can't remember what he said exactly.
He was like, I'm putting you down, and once my plan has come true, I'll fix you, because that's when I'll be able to thank you. That's what this whole plan is so that I can thank you. And it's like, yo, man, like.
That's not how you fix somebody.
This ain't it, Chief, No.
Like, yeah, that, like, it made me feel sorry for him, but it also kind of made me feel sorry for, like, I can't say it without spoiling, because it just reminds me of another villain who shall remain nameless, but, like, it makes me feel bad, like, how their upbringings could have been so totally different. Just, like, horrible, like, circumstances and horrible, like, situations.
He tried to give him as much warning as they could. He was like, hey, stop getting in a fight, stop doing these things, stop treating Eri like, she's not a person. Like, dude, like, he tried to give him as many chances as he could. And he just wouldn't see through him. My overall thoughts on Overhaul was, like, I thought he was a really interesting character. I really like the voice actor. I don't think they ever... Let me know if they explained this in the manga at all, but, like, is he a germaphobe? Like, he's wearing this mask, and anytime he gets, like, really frustrated in the anime, you, like, start seeing, like, hives or like pores start showing themselves on his face. Like, he looks like he's forming a rash when he gets really mad. Is that explained at all in the manga?
I don't think so, honestly. But like, there probably, if there is a reason for it, it might be some weird ass reason for it. Okay. I honestly just don't remember. But like, I think they pretty much explained everything about Overhaul in the anime.
Okay.
Please, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody.
Yeah, let us know. As far as like the childhood changing my opinion, I just thought that...
to be honest, no. Like, I still think he's, like, a horrible person.
Yeah. The only thing that the backstory did for me was that it just showed me that, yeah, there really is a reoccurring theme in this show, or in this series overall, that, like, depending on who our mentors are and what our relationship is with them, like, that can really shape us in really positive or really negative ways.
Yeah, like teachers and students, and then eventually like the students become the teacher. Like they become the successor. So it's all about successors. Like, who's like top dog successor? Because we technically have 4 now, or 4 relationships.
Let's see. Go over that one more time. So
there's like Deku and All Might, and then Mirio, Night Eye.
Okay, Mirio, Night Eye, Shigaraki, and
All for One. And then the boss guy and Overhaul.
Yeah, shout out to the boss guy that we don't know his name.
Shout out to the boss, or the is that what they call him? I can't remember what they call him. Bosu.
He calls them Pops in the subtitles, I think, or something like that.
Oh, I see.
We've got one more here at Albob875. Will this arc go down as one of the GOATs in anime?
I think so. Well, will it go?
I don't know about the whole arc. I'll say like the last half of it, like when they start finally infiltrating the lair, and you start seeing the fights, like the Sun Eater fight, the Fat Gum fight. Like, those are some really good. It's almost like a boss rush. You see. Seeing Lemillion and then Deku, like the Infinite One for 100%. Like, those are some really top tier fights, one after another. But I think a lot. It was a whole build up. Yeah, there was a lot of build-up, which I, like, that's why I'm saying, like, overall, I don't know if it'll be GOAT, because I think a lot of people had problems with the pacing, that it slowed down. We were talking about earlier about how fast My Hero goes, and this is, like, one of the few moments where it does kind of start taking its time. But that's just kind of the real nature of it. That's something I think was really interesting, was that they're like, hey, we're having a lot of fun here, but at the same time, let's look, even for just a moment, what does it look like when we are working with the police, they need to really... They can't act just, like, without thinking. Like, there's a lot of planning that got to take place. Like, everyone needs to be meeting and be on the same page and know their roles. Like, it's just kind of, like, I think it's an interesting look, like, at, what hero society is like when you, are more involved with law enforcement.
I think it's true. Like, the pacing, like, definitely did slow down. I think that's probably, like, does that make it not, like, as per se goat.
Yeah.
But
Like I'm being very literal. Like yeah, GOAT for those of them. It's like greatest
yeah,
of all
yeah.
time. Like I think it's like
I
really
don't.
like a really good arc, but I wouldn't say it's maybe. I don't know if I would even say it's my favorite arc of the series or not. I think.
Yeah, true. Like the way I don't know, the way I kind of want to separate the anime from the manga. As dumb as that sounds, or as much as you probably shouldn't. In the manga, it definitely seemed way bigger than what it was in the anime.
Okay.
To me, at least. Like that's why, like before even season 4 came, I was like, "Yo, this is." And I was caught up with the manga, and we were way past Overhaul arc, or pretty far from Overhaul, or afterwards from the Overhaul arc. I was just like, "Yo, I can't." I'm so excited. I can't wait for this arc. Like this is gonna be like the greatest of all time. And then like the anime comes out, and like I'm not saying that I didn't like it. It's just the build-up was a little bit not. It didn't. The hype wasn't as much there. But like I read it all in one go. That's the thing. Having like, and it's always that thing that you always hear with My Hero is like, My Hero is excruciating to read chapter by chapter, week by week. But like if you do it in all one go, it's like it's incredible. So like maybe like if I went back and
that's something I'm gonna
like,
try to find out for the first time. So I'm gonna try to now that I wouldn't so. That kind of answers our questions about whether it's the GOAT a little bit. Like for me, not so much. I don't know about for you. How are you feeling?
Like manga wise, yeah. I really enjoyed the manga.
But the anime
probably,
not so much.
But anime not so much. Like as much as I loved everything about like once they actually like went in, it's like okay, it's go time. It's time to time to go fuck up Overhaul. You know, it's like the build up. Like I get why it's there, and I'm glad it's there.
Yeah, like I liked it, but again, it didn't. Since the whole thing wasn't that 100%, like that's why it falls a little bit short for me.
And me and my boyfriend were watching it together, and he doesn't read the manga, so he was just like, "Oh, I'm ready for Overhaul," and he's just like, "That's it, that's the episode." Like to see to see he's very like he's like if it grabs his attention, it's great. Like or if it grabs his attention, he'll let you know. But like if it falls flat for him, he's just like, "Well, that episode was boring," or like that nothing happened there. It's like they just were in a meeting or something.
Which
like
I think I did see like some impressions like that, like around anime Twitter and stuff. Yeah. So that said, that I'm gonna. So now that we're kind of starting a new arc, which is the school festival arc, I'm gonna try to take this time since I'm assuming again. I'm only anime. I'm only watching the anime, so I don't know if I'm gonna have to bite my words or whatever, but. I'm assuming the stakes will be relatively low, and I think most of this will be character development or something like that. So I'm gonna take advantage of this and try to actually catch up on the manga. That way, I can finally experience what it's like to go manga first and then see the anime. Because I think it's really interesting to hear your perspective, and I've been seeing a lot of people also share their thoughts of like, oh, this is what I thought compared to the manga. There's this and that, and I was like, I kind of want to see what that's like. So I guess we'd call it season 5. So whenever season 5 of the anime comes out, I will hopefully by then have caught up with the manga and see what that's like. And
like it's a really good read. I really enjoy the manga. Like shout out to Biz, shout out to Shonen Jump. Download the app, pay $2. If you can pay $2 if you can buy a T-shirt from Hot Topic, you can spend $2 a month for manga.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how it goes, but I think I'm still gonna enjoy it. Like. I'm still going to tune in at least the rest of this season, though, to see how the school festival goes. Because so shonen anime is cool and all, but I have a really soft spot in my heart for slice of life, which...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the fact that we're going kind of more focused on, like, school life, like, I'm really excited for this. A lot of people are calling it filler or this or that, and I'm like, nah, man, this is...
Y'all suck.
This is my home base right here, so I'm looking forward to this.
No, it's just I love actually seeing them in like a high school setting. Like there's a part in the manga. It's not crazy. It's like not crazy spoiler, but like when Aizawa announces like, "Yo, we're gonna do like school festivals now," and everyone's just like, "We're gonna be doing normal school activities."
Finally being just
what?
Kids. Yeah.
It's like I feel like they kind of break a fourth wall there. It's just like, what? We're not getting attacked by villains for once.
No, give these kids a break. Let them be kids for once. Yeah.
I know, right? I really enjoyed the school festival, and I thought it was a really cool moment. And we do get to see, the provisional license or remedial like retake for Todoroki and Bakugo. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll sprinkle a little bit of that. Yeah. But with that, that's the end of the overall arc. Thanks for joining me on this. any last thoughts? I know we've given so many thoughts, but any closing thoughts on this arc, on Overhaul or anything?
Read the manga.
Read the manga, guys. Watch, get your Crunchyroll, get your Viz, get everything. Read
Get
it.
your Funimation.
Experience it every way you can. I think I've even seen YouTube channels where people recreated like school plays, like schools did like My Hero. Yeah, it's crazy. They cosplay and get the and everything and do these school play productions of like, and it's weird. It's not like it's American or even Japanese. I think it was like a German school or something like that, like a Dutch or a German school that did a My Hero thing. So yeah, wherever you can get the story, experience it, and my closing thoughts are just that I really enjoyed it. I think it's really interesting that the tone changed. It became a bit darker, and it did take its time a bit more. But at the end, we got some really hype fights and very emotional feelings, like throughout a lot of that too.
Every season, I feel like the emotions just get higher and higher and higher. I like how it turned like darker. I just wish it could have been like more dark. I guess if that makes sense. Yeah. But like, I'm glad it took it kind of did that at season 3. To be honest, it did take a little bit of a darker tone. But this one was probably as dark as My Hero will probably get. Until maybe more seasons are produced.
Later. Guess we'll find out, and hopefully we'll bring it out for then. And this was really fun. Thanks again for joining me. If we have any more DBZ talk, My Hero talk, hopefully we'll get you on here too. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell everybody again where they can find you.
Y'all can find me at tortilla_senpai on twitter.com. You can also find me at tortilla_senpai on twitch.com. Currently playing my way through, you guessed it, Kingdom Hearts 1.
Hey.
Never played it before. RPGs were not my thing as a kid, as we found out in the beginning about Final Fantasy and not finishing it. But Twitch a couple of times a week, just whenever I can, when I'm not working or I'm not too exhausted from work.
I was tuning in the other day. You were kind of nearing the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. So by the time this comes out on Wednesday, you might or might not have finished it by then. But still, stay tuned because you got the story so far, right? So you'll be playing through probably most of the games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm definitely going on a road to Kingdom Hearts. Road to Remind.
Yeah. Road to Remind. Nice. So tune into that. Again, I'll also be including in the show notes where you can check out that Twitter and Twitch. As for me, we're going to kick it to the rest of the podcast, and you'll find out from me. I'll just say it right now. Yeah, you can follow this show on Twitter @thatanimepod, and you can find me @pixelbrave. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you guys around. Say goodbye.
Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra.
Hasta luego, y'all. Thanks for having me.
And I know I said it so many times already, but I want to thank Tortilla Senpai one more time for being my first guest and for talking to me about My Hero and the Overhaul arc. There's still how much more My Hero to talk about, and hopefully we'll bring her on again. Obviously, there's so many of you guys out there that love My Hero that I'd love to get on here too. So either at the end of this season or maybe after the anime movie comes out, which comes out by the time of this recording, it's going to come out at the end of February. You can never have too many people talking about My Hero, so if you want to get involved with the show, you can find the form to become a guest, just like Tortilla Senpai did, on my Twitter @thatanimepod. Okay, let's talk a little bit about anime culture. I was watching one of the shorter animes this week called Room Camp, which again is about students who just enjoy camping. And the current arc is that they're visiting different national parks. And one of the parks that they visited this week had a giant statue of a tanuki, which reminded the students of kind of a folk tale that they had heard. Which, as I watched, I was like, this is basically the tale of the tortoise and the hare. It was about a race between, a tortoise and a hare, but in this version, it included a tanuki. They are basically these large, round, and brown raccoon-looking animals, these mammals, and they're very prominent in a lot of Japanese mythology and folklore, and so of course they make their way into pop culture as well. And so this week, it's instead of being a deep dive into the culture corner, I wanted to make it more of a fun facts thing, and so I wanted to give just a quick shout out to different properties where you might have seen tanuki and not even realized what they were. In Super Mario 3, when you get the tail, that is actually a tanuki tail. That isn't a raccoon tail after all. Like I thought maybe it was either a flying squirrel or something like that, but apparently it is actually the tanuki. Also, there's a very popular Studio Ghibli film called Pom Poko. It's kind of a weird anime, to be honest with you, because it's very silly, but at the same time it can be kind of it is trying to say a lot too. It's about a bunch of anthropomorphic tanukis in the forest that are using their abilities to try to stand up to humans, because as we all know, humans invade a lot of animals' natural environments, and that's what's happening in this time in the film. Development is being made, there's construction site, and the city's expanding, and the Tanukis are like, what are we going to do? Let's use our powers to try to stand up for ourselves, and we're going to team up together, and we're going to get rid of these humans. I bet you can imagine how that goes, but still, it's kind of a really interesting film. It's kind of hard to pinpoint that, so it's got its funny moments, but sometimes it's serious too, and obviously there's also like a really important message about trying to how we should be a bit more respectful of nature. And I think you guys are gonna kind of be like, oh wait, why didn't I notice that before? But our good friend Tom Nook, everybody's favorite landlord slash investor, businessman, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call him, loving father, of course, Tom Nook is actually a tanuki, which it's like, why didn't I think of that before? Like, I just always assumed he was just this raccoon, even though obviously he's brown. Like, does that make sense? Like, I don't know. It was right in front of me the whole time, and I was like, oh, when I was doing research on popular instances of tanukis, I was like, when I saw Tom Nook show up, I was like, wait, it was looking at me in the face this whole time. Why didn't I put it together? So yeah, if you ever not really put it together, Tom Nook, who takes your money, but gives you your first start in Animal Crossing, he is in fact a tanuki. So yeah, that was just kind of a fun fact version of the Culture Corner for this week. Let me know if you'd connected to the dots yourself too when you were growing up playing these games. If you also misunderstanding and thinking maybe these were squirrels or raccoons or things like that, or have you heard about tanukis all along when you were first playing these games like Animal Crossing? We would normally turn it over to questions right now, but we did not get any this week, but that's fine. You know, people are probably catching up on the anime and stuff like that, but don't forget, if you would like to submit any questions, be sure to follow me on Twitter at @ThatAnimePod. That way you can see when I put out the call out for any general questions about anime that can go right here. Again, these can be just general questions about maybe my anime interests, or maybe comments, and if you want to tell me about something that you're watching that you're really enjoying and you want me to maybe check out, this is just kind of where we can touch base at the end of the episode. Again, no submissions this week, but maybe next time. Alright, that's it for this episode of That Anime Pod. Thank you again for Tortilla Senpai for joining me, talking about my hero. Thank you to Grimecraft. Everybody give a shout out to Grimecraft because he's lending us his song to end this. That's Lonely Rolling Star, the remix that was made in cooperation with Game Chops. It's just such a cool tune. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thank you again so much, Grimecraft. As if I haven't said it enough time, don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at ThatAnimePod. To find me on Twitter, you can follow me at PixelBrave. And of course, this is all here made possible because of That Nerdy Site, which you can find on Twitter at That Nerdy Site. Thank you guys again for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.